Angela Kulikov,
Yep.
two-time senior captain for USC women's tennis. Getting an education at a school like USC is time-consuming enough. Making sure that your craft in tennis is at the highest level takes a lot of time.
Yep.
But you have this whole brand you've created for yourself. Who is the QB chick?
Yeah, so it started for me, I think 2 years ago now. It was never really something I envisioned. It kind of came about naturally, but really the story there is I have a younger brother who, is everything to me. That's my best friend, that's my kid, definitely more than just a little nugget in my house. But basically the story was I was hurt for a few years growing up in junior tennis, and that was right around when he was 8 or 9 and he was about to find his niche. And I was a big tomboy growing up. I loved football, so to have a little brother and a chance to steer him that way was a really exciting opportunity. So I started to coach him when he was little, which sounds funny and obsessive, but it kind of was. But after a while, to be able to coach him, I had to develop myself. And I talked to a bunch of coaches, and I picked up what I could through video, through YouTube, through Instagram, and a couple of them noticed it and said, this is something really cool. You should try posting something like this. And I was a little shy at first, and I went with it. One of his coaches works in Hollywood and filmed something, and it did really well, really fast. Got like 30,000 hits on an account with 0 followers. So I think as I started to continue doing it, I recognized what a platform and what a different opportunity I had created out of it. And here we are a few years later, and still going strong.
Well, and if anybody goes and looks at this Instagram account, the QB chick, you didn't just learn how to do football so that way you could teach your brother. You are really talented too. When you realize that you are in this day and age of breaking glass ceilings, so to speak, how special is it for you to have that influence on your little brother to teach him that this is the norm? Yeah,
it's very special. I'll be honest, when I first started it really just was, I was at home, I had this boot on me, I had crutches a lot of times because I had a few surgeries, and it was just filling time. But it was as I kept doing it and as I kept learning, as he kept learning, I started to find out that this is a lot more special than just throwing a spiral,
Yes.
So it's been super rewarding for me to get, I'll get messages from girls sometimes, from their parents, from their father saying, my daughter wants to try out for her football team. Do you have any tips for her? And I'll send them a video and shoot them, messages and follow their progress. So
how special is that feeling?
It's unbelievable. I actually, there was the best for me, I think, was a girl. I've had a few come out to matches here, and I had one try to come to a professional, it wasn't even a USC match, it was a pro match in Concord, Massachusetts, near Boston. And I was actually going through a rough time before that, and I got that message, and it meant everything to me to see. We're talking about being more than an athlete. Sometimes it becomes more than a tennis player because this is such a consuming sport. So it's so rewarding, and that's really why I've continued doing it and continued searching for ways to press it further and keep trying to make the impact wherever I can.
You have learned that you can be talented in a sport that is a male sport. There is no women's football.
Yeah.
You have become a role model to your younger brother. You have overcome injuries to come back and compete at the highest level collegiately with tennis. What have you learned the most about yourself?
I think a big piece of my development was to separate, I just touched on it, but tennis player from athlete. So I really think sports are the best vehicle to grow as a person, to grow your character, to learn about yourself. Kobe had a really great quote about that. He said basketball was the vehicle through which he questions himself. For me, I've switched it to just athletics. So just having to find ways to deal with the difficult parts, to enjoy the special parts, to see the impact you can make. The greatest thing I've gotten to do is kind of watch myself evolve from afar and kind of laugh at how trivial what it is that's driving it. At the end of the day, I want to make my serve in. I want my forehand to be better, but when you see what an impact that has outside of my serve and my forehand, it just blows me away. So
when you walk away from this, do you see yourself coaching football or tennis?
I do. I mean, I go back and forth on it. I have a hard time because I admit to a lot of people, I think I love football more, just in the athleticism and the physicality and the team aspect of it. But tennis was also kind of my first love. So it's definitely something I'd explore. You're already seeing it in the NFL, Kate Sowers and a few people are breaking in. But, you know, college tennis has been just such a special ride for me. And, you know, I'm a senior now, so this is my last season. I'm realizing, you know, wow, the clock's ticking, and I'm going to take my shot on the professional tour for a bit. But I've definitely decided college tennis is something I want to return to. But, you know, I've got a few more decades, hopefully, so there's time to do both. We'll see.
Well, the world is yours to trailblaze. I'm really excited to see how much farther you can go with everything you've done. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.